Hello. I'm getting a little bit tired of using the word changeable to describe our weather, but it's fair to say the weather is going to be pretty changeable through the next 10 days. Let's start off looking at the jet stream, and it's running close to the UK, and importantly, we're on the northern side of it, the cooler, the fresher side, which is why there is a fresher feel to things at the moment compared to what we saw through some recent weeks. But if we run the picture through, and well, the jet is driving a system across the country as we go through Thursday, so some fairly wet weather for many of us through Thursday, then more showers to come as we go through later Thursday and into Friday. And then notice the jet is driving another area of low pressure that's heading towards the UK, and this is going to bring some heavy rain as we go through Saturday as well. But let's start back and go back to Thursday and look in a bit more detail. And yes, a bit of a wet picture through the morning, in particular across much of England and Wales, a swathe of at times quite persistent rain pushing its way eastwards, but that clears through as we go through the early afternoon. But plenty of showers following in behind, and some of these showers could be quite heavy. There could be some thunder mixed in, and there will be some blustery winds, a bit of a breeze around as well. In terms of rainfall totals, some places could be looking at around 30 to 40 millimetres, particularly over parts of England and perhaps Wales, because of that more persistent rain during the morning, and then those heavier showers following in behind. Temperatures, like I said, we're on that fresher side, that northern side of the jet, so nothing really to write home about, generally peaking in the mid to high teens Celsius. If you get any of the decent sunny spells away from the showers, and if you're in the shelter from the breeze, well, it's not going to feel too bad at all. It is June after all. The showers will continue for a time as we go through later Thursday. A lot of them are going to fizzle out, but there are some spells of rain nearby. Most of the outbreaks of rain will be coming in from the west. Could be some heavier outbreaks of rain pushing eastwards as we go through the early hours of Friday morning and early towards dawn as well. That then clears away towards the east through the morning, but there will then still be a scattering of showers following in behind. The showers again could be quite heavy across parts of Scotland, northern England and also Northern Ireland, and once more some thunder isn't out of the question, but actually across the bulk of England and Wales, away from some of the coastal fringes, it's actually looking pretty decent once the earlier showery rain clears through, and if anything, temperatures look like they could be a touch higher than on Thursday, so a greater chance of getting to highs of around 19, possibly 20 Celsius. More showers continuing for a time as we go through later Friday, particularly across northern parts. But then our attention turns to what's going to happen on Saturday, and the jet stream is driving an area of low pressure that's heading towards us. It's not an especially deep area of low pressure, but nonetheless it is going to bring some more unsettled weather. We're going to see a swathe of heavy showery rain pushing its way across many parts. Most areas likely to see some fairly heavy bursts at times, and there will be some blustery winds mixed in. All the time, the showers, well, they could have some oomph behind them. We could see some hail, could see some thunder mixed in with them as well, but there will be some bright or sunny spells in between the showers, albeit those are going to be pretty limited. The showers continue for a time as we go through the evening as well, and as a result there's a potential that we could see some rainfall totals building up. If we take a look at the kind of rainfall totals that we're expecting, and well, by their very nature showers are hit and miss, so not everywhere will see them, and it's a little bit difficult to pinpoint exactly where we're going to see the highest rainfall totals, but this just demonstrates that there's the potential that some places could see 30 to 40, possibly in excess of 50 millimetres of rain as we go through Saturday. If you catch any of those heavy downpours, if you catch a couple of them, that's when we could see the highest rainfall totals. At this stage, it's a bit too early to be too precise with where's going to see the highest rainfall and where has the greatest chance of seeing some impacts from the rain, but it does look like across England and Wales, particularly towards the west, but also towards the south really, well, we could see the greatest chance of some impacts. We may need to issue some warnings nearer the time. Then as we go through into Sunday, the system that brings the more unsettled weather on Saturday, that clears away towards the east, a bit of a ridge of high pressure. So Sunday does look like it will be the driest day for many places. Not totally dry though, there are a few showers over the northern and eastern side of that ridge, so Northern Ireland, Scotland and down the eastern side of England, a good few showers here and there. The rest of England and Wales mostly dry, not totally dry but mostly dry, and again some sunny spells breaking out, temperatures similar to what we've seen through the preceding days really, mid to high teens Celsius at best. But this is the 10-day trend. So let's look further ahead. And how's it looking as we go through next week? Well, the changeable theme does look set to continue. So these are the three most likely setups for next Monday, the 9th of June. And this suggests that a sort of an area of low pressure somewhere towards the north of the UK, not particularly strong flow across the UK. It's looking pretty flat. Similar-ish setups to some extent. Actually, well, the second most likely setup starts to bring in high pressure from the west or southwest, so could quieten things down. But really, I mean, if we look at the percentage chance, it's close to 50%. I think it's going to be something like this. If we look at our postage stamps from ECMWF, so these show all the different possible members, and they're all similar-ish in as much as they have low pressure somewhere towards the northwest of the UK, but just how developed it is, well, that's where there are some question marks. I think most likely it'll be something kind of akin to member 23, perhaps a relatively deep area of low pressure somewhere just to the north of the UK, and that will bring some wet and perhaps windy weather, particularly to northern parts, greater chance of staying dry towards more southern areas. But it's just worth bearing in mind that, well, there are some question marks as to just how quickly this is going to push through and how developed a feature it's going to be. It could be a fair bit slacker and could take a little bit longer. But let's start ahead a couple of days, and this time we're looking at Wednesday. And if we look at the most likely setup, and it's another area of low pressure coming in, but this one, there's a reasonable chance it's going to hang back a little bit longer and just linger out to the west of us. And why is that important? Well, because it could allow for a bit of air to come up from the south before this low comes in. Worth bearing in mind, not all of the models are in agreement with that, and some are a bit more developmental, and so push things through a little bit quicker and bring that low further across. As a result, we don't have the time for that plume to come up from the south. But if that does happen, and again, looking at our various members, a fair few of them suggesting that we could have something developing and coming up from the south. Well, if we look at our wet bulb potential temperature, and you can see, if we get that low lingering to the west of us, and that allows that plume of warmer, more moist air to come up from the south, well, that does bring the risk of potentially, yes, a rise in our temperatures. We could see something a little bit warmer or hotter for a time as we go through the middle of next week. But with that, a lot of instability. We could have some severe thunderstorms kicking off as well. Nothing unheard of for this stage in June, but just something to be aware of. Like I say, though, still some question marks as to how quickly that feature through the middle of next week moves through. The quicker it goes through, the less likely we are to see that hotter air and also those thundery downpours. Then as we go towards the end of the week, and still a changeable theme as we go through Thursday and into Friday, so low pressure likely to be somewhere nearby. The devil's in the detail, and we can't be too precise with that at this lead time. But if we look ahead to Saturday, and I wanted to bring this to your attention because the most likely setup, albeit only 15%, but the most likely setup for next Saturday is for high to be building from the southwest. And if this happens, well, there's a chance that this could last for a little while at least. If we look at our probability plot when it comes to our pressure setups, and you can see the blues indicating low pressure, more changeable, unsettled weather. They're the theme through the rest of this week, and generally a changeable pattern through much of next week as well. But signal that we could see high pressure with the reds becoming more of a dominant feature as we go towards the middle of June, around the 14th or 15th. Now, it's worth bearing in mind we have said similar when we look around 10 days ahead in the future in previous forecasts, and it's quite often there's a thing called the 10-day ridge, which is, well, what we often see around 10 days in advance, signs of a ridge building, high pressure and more settled weather, which is what we do kind of have here. So no guarantee this is definitely going to happen. It may get delayed and pushed back, and it may take until deeper into June before we actually see the return of the more settled weather. But confidence is growing that it's going to happen around that middle weekend of June. Also worth bearing in mind, even if we do see high pressure building, it may not be a great big blocking high that we saw through much of spring. It could just be a temporary feature, so high nearby, but there would also be some more changeable weather around as well. So definitely want to keep on top of, and we will be doing that. We will be keeping you updated with the forecast as we go through the next 10 days and beyond. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.